It's now time for Remember When with Uncle John. John Guess, Ouachita County's resident storyteller and local historian. Sit back now and enjoy a walk down memory lane as John recalls the days of yesteryear in his own unique way. You never know, some of it might even be true. So here's Uncle John, along with his trusty sidekick, Kelly Blair.
Back on Remember When with Uncle John. Well, here we are at the start of a brand new week, off and running, just like the ponies at Oaklawn when they hit that little bell and the gates fling open. And yeah, man, that's how we approach Monday, right? Okay, maybe more with a whimper and a neigh, but you got to get through Monday before you can get through the rest of the week, including Finish Line Friday. Great thing about Remember When with Uncle John, we got our same great sponsors, including Sherwin-Williams House Paint, 315 Jefferson Street right here in Camden. Give them a holler at 836-8125.
And we got the Shopper's Guide. Give old J.J. Lindsay a call for all your printing needs, 836-3022. No matter what your needs are, he can fix you up.
Absolutely. And one of our longest sponsors, ProMed Ambulance Service.
1-800-634-0436. Serving Randolph, Lawrence, Ashley, Union, Dallas, and Calhoun County. Give them a call. Get signed up on their Priority Membership Ambulance Care Program.
Because it's better to have them and not need them
than need them and not have them.
And don't forget, folks, if you miss us first thing in the morning, which, hey, first thing on a Monday morning, I can understand. You can always catch us anywhere that you can find a podcast, like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast. Just go and search Remember When with Uncle John. Be sure to include that second part. Otherwise, you get a couple of hundred different Remember Whens. But there's only one, believe it or not, Uncle John to be found out there. Johnny, what do you want to talk about here on a Monday?
Well, you know, after all the recent goings on and everything that's going on in the world, we completely missed the passing of one of the all-time great football players, probably considered by some the greatest football player of all time.
Yeah, it has been busy. I mean, I hate that we missed it, but, you know, we've had some things going on.
That would be James Nathaniel Brown.
Mr. Jim Brown.
Mr. Jim Brown, number 32 of the Cleveland Browns, born in 1936 in St. Simons Island, Georgia. Played his entire career for the Cleveland Browns, 1957 through 1965. And to this day, the standard bearer and the benchmark for most football players.
Yeah, some say he was the greatest of all time, especially the greatest running back of all time. And with Jim Brown, it was like just dominance. You know, he didn't play as long as some of these other guys out here, so he's not the all-time leading rusher. He never really, you know, was. He might have been at one point, but I mean, his thing was never more about records. It was more about the fact that the other team, everybody on the other team, everybody on the sideline, everybody in the stands, everybody watching on national TV. So Jim Brown's fixing to get the ball right here, and they still couldn't stop him.
And, you know, I have to admire the guy because I have watched countless documentaries about him, interviews with him. When he was done, he was done.
Yep.
He didn't stick around too long like a lot of them do. He didn't go to another team for more money. He did not. He followed his convictions when enough was enough. He focused on his acting career, civil rights, a lot of different things. But his football career, when he was done, he was done. And you know, a lot of them could take a lot of lead by that. You know, we've all seen, which, you know, I'm always quick to say, I'm not near the sports authority that you are. But you know, when enough's enough. It's enough.
There you go. Absolutely.
And, you know, a lot of them stay way too long, but he did not.
Well, the funny thing that I remember is, talk about enough is enough. Jim Brown, you know, he knew he was getting very, very, very close to the end of his career. He was still willing to play one, maybe two more seasons, something like that. But he was filming this little movie, might have heard of it, called The Dirty Dozen.
Right. And
the Cleveland Browns said, no, Jim, you got to show up day one of training camp. He's like, look, I'm in shape. I've been working out. It's not like y'all have changed the playbook. I know what's going on. I'm just going to be a little late. And they're like, no, Jim, you got to be here with everybody else day one of training camp. And Jim says, well, you know what? I just retired.
Yeah.
And he holds a press conference in his Dirty Dozen costume in his Army fatigues, announcing his retirement from the National Football League.
And it's still one of my favorite war movies.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But, he played, of course, he played college ball at Syracuse. And, this day and time, and we've all seen it, so many great players, they'll play at one team for a long time and they'll get cut or whatever, and they'll go to somebody else. And I think that tarnishes their image.
Yeah, it can.
If you stay one place a long time, that's where you ought to be.
Well, the first impression is great, but the last impression tends to hang around for a while too.
But he was a great athlete, somebody that I remember, of course, from the movies, and his civil rights activities, which were very, very commendable. I mean, he was dedicated to civil rights and his beliefs, and I applaud him for that. But a great athlete, a great humanitarian, and a double tough guy, according to Richard Pryor.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that. Wasn't he the first African-American to ever have a kiss a white woman on
I
big
believe
screen?
He was, Raquel Welch.
Welch, there you go.
Didn't nobody mess with him about it either.
If you didn't think he wasn't a man's man before then, that pretty much settled it right there. Hey, folks, that's going to wrap up Remember When with Uncle John here for today. We'll be right back here tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, ready to do it all over again. We'll see you then, Johnny.
See you tomorrow, Kelly.
You've been listening to Remember When with Uncle John on Y95. This broadcast can be heard each weekday morning at 6:45 on South Arkansas's favorite station, Y95.